First rank, take 2 steps forward.
This is the NFAC. Armed, aggrieved, and increasingly visible.
Y'all know what our rules of engagement are, right? We don't point our weapons at nobody unless they point them at you.
In an America where racial tension is raging. The group is exclusively black. And Grandmaster Jay is the closely guarded, enigmatic leader. He's agreed to speak with us from what he calls a safe house. The group says that it's not made up of protesters or demonstrators, that it is a black militia. And we're about to meet the leader, Grandmaster Jay. He's told us to come to a secluded location where he hopes we won't be seen.
One of my jobs is to protect the identity of our members. That is why I am the only one that speaks for the NFAC. You have folks that are veterans, that are corporate execs, that are members that don't want to have to deal in their personal life with the pressures of being a part of this organization. We're going to prove to the world that we can be just as organized, just as disciplined, just as well armed, just as determined as any standing military of any government, not as some mob in the streets that gets together on the weekends to call themselves patriots.
Why do you think it's necessary to carry weapons?
I'm not going to answer that question unless you ask that question of every other race that carries weapons, every other civilization that has gone into other countries with weapons. The police carry weapons. Weapons were invented to defend oneself. So it is only common sense that we carry weapons to defend ourselves. It is not a question. It is a necessity.
How would you describe the state of race relations in America right now?
Pathetic. There's no other word. It's pathetic. It has deteriorated to a place that is reminiscent of the early 60s. It is reminiscent of Jim Crow. It is reminiscent of the lynch era. It is reminiscent of the days of the Ku Klux Klan.
There's a growing face-off between armed groups in the US, but NFAC insists, unlike others, they haven't committed any crimes.
Everything that we've done has been within the confines of the Constitution. The day that the NFAC steps over the line, it will be because the line was already stepped over for us first.
The Black Lives Matter movement is vast and varied, but he doesn't identify with it.
It has been infiltrated by people like Antifa, anarchists, people who come in just to destroy, not to achieve anything.
Many in the very broad network firmly reject that claim. But one thing the groups share is a desire to end racial injustice.
It is the aftermath and the incidents themselves. It's not just the fact that they shot us. It's that once we're shot, as in the case of Breonna Taylor, there's this feet dragging and there's this lack of sense of urgency.
In Louisville, Kentucky, they say they've helped peacefully push for progress, a settlement for Breonna Taylor's family, the 26-year-old killed by police, and a grand jury decision now expected imminently. What if the 3 officers involved aren't prosecuted? What will your response be?
If they decide they don't want to charge anyone, of course they've got to explain that, not only to the population that's there, but also to all of the other members of the legislature that have given this wide focus. Why? And if you can show us in the law why you couldn't do that, then we have to live with that.
Others might not. This is a year dominated by confrontation, and this week could easily bring more. Cordelia Lynch, Sky News.